Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. This is going to be our week 5 game picks. We're going through this season really quickly already. There's 4 teams on buys. I think it's the Bears, Packers, Steelers, and Falcons, I believe.
Yep.
So we don't got to worry about those teams. So I can't pick the Packers to win because every time I pick them to win, they did win. So I'm sad about that. They lost and they tied every time I picked them to win. So I'm doing that every single time going forward, other than when they play the Vikings, most likely. I just can't do that in my heart. But can't do that. But we're gonna go through this. Before that, though, how are you doing today, Lance?
I'm good, man. I it, what I'll say on the picks this week, it wasn't as hard for me to do the picks. It was
As
hard
last
to
week?
it was hard to rank the picks.
Okay.
That was where my struggle was. But I was pretty confident about who I was going to pick for each game. But yeah, man, it's fun, and when you think you know what's going to happen, that's when you get surprised. So
Yeah, like the Giants beating the Chargers, or the
the
Cowboys not getting demolished by the Packers and
or
ending in
the
a tie.
Falcons destroying the Commanders. Well, it didn't end that way, but it sure was going that way for a while.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
how are
This league
how
is
are you,
crazy.
Andrew?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Last week you got me by 14 points, so you have a 20-point lead, I think, but that's not an insurmountable lead.
Mm,
And you just got to get those upsets right because the common ones like the Bills over the Saints, no one's gaining ground or losing ground on that. It's those upsets. They always happen. You just got to get them right. And I think we'll see how you did, but I think I took some risks this time. I had some fun this week. I think we should just get into it. I
yeah.
think we should just get into it. So the first game up is the Thursday night game. This is one of those it was easy because the 49ers, they're dealing with so many injuries. Brock Purdy's out, Juwan Jennings is out, Ricky Pearsall is out. Who is going to play in this game? Who's Mac Jones throwing to? I think he's throwing to Kendrick Bourne. They still have McCaffrey, so McCaffrey's probably gonna get like 8 million touches, but the Rams are gonna know that. They're gonna bottle him up. And the Rams are semi-healthy, honestly. Devontae Adams been a little banged up. He's dealing with a little thing, but he should play. Um, and the Rams got that win, tough fought win against the Colts last week. I don't see any way the Rams lose this game. So I have the Rams winning it, and this is my confidence level 13. I only had one higher than this one.
Wow.
Hmm. I'm very confident that the 49ers aren't going to be able to win at LA on a short week without like three of their main players.
Wow. I mean, I picked the Rams too, but I went with the confidence of two. Just
Oh,
because,
wow. Even with the Jags being the 49ers and then the 49ers being so injured, you don't have any confidence in the Rams.
well, hold on. Did I pick the Rams? Yes, I picked the Rams. So it's all about how the other games fell. That one just seemed to me, see, this is where it's going. I know where it's going to flip. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm gonna hold my cards. But I divisional games are tough, man. They don't go the way that you think they will. It,
Absolutely.
I mean, take for example the Seattle Arizona game last week. I mean, we felt
Hmm.
different about that one. I was like, I don't know. The divisional games are tough. They don't tend to go the way you think they will. They could be a lot closer. And it looked like you were right in the first half, but in the second half, Cardinals almost got them. They almost came back,
They had a fight. They had a little fight in them. Hmm.
and so that was my struggle, and that's my struggle with the picks right now. Is I don't disagree. I think that the Rams should win. I have liked the way that the Rams have looked. One part is I think that the Rams have a very good defense. They're overall number nine. They're 10 in rush. They're tied at ninth for passing, 10th for scoring is tied. It's a great defense. Like honestly, that
Hmm.
I don't think that really reflects how good the Rams defense has been.
They've played
Um,
some tough teams.
exactly. But their offense is overall number four. So, like, I agree with that. Here's the interesting part, Andrew, is that the 49ers have the overall fifth defense. It's a little surprising to me. But the weird part is they're 17th in rushing.
Hmm.
So I think that's going to be a problem, but we'll
Hmm.
see. I think Sean McVay, we talked about this yesterday. The KOC Sean McVay line, I feel like they sometimes overthink things or they have a certain way they want to win. And rather than accepting that there's another way they will be able to win, they'll fight it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think Williams could totally go off. Could see that happening. Blake Corum is a great change of pace back. So
Hmm.
actually, I'd say like fantasy wise, sneaky, watch him. Watch as far as to see if maybe he could go off against this,
He's on my team.
depending on the league you're in. Yes, this is true. So, but no, I agree with you, man. And I just, it's just tough. It's tough to know it.
Yeah.
Um, and I did see that Brock Purdy's going to miss the game. So, I mean, that's fair. So it's interesting, man. I just can't be quite as confident.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I've never been a Kyle Shanahan guy. He gives up big leads in Super Bowls and he can never win the big game. And so anytime I can vote against Kyle Shanahan, I'm happy. All right, let's go to the next game. The best game of the week. I'm just kidding. Over there in London, Vikings, quote unquote, at Browns. So initially going into this after Sunday's games, I was thinking, okay, this game's going to be tight. I'm going on Sunday after the game ended. I was thinking I'm probably going to pick the Vikings to win because they're in desperation mode. They need to win. They technically have a better team than the Browns, but they're not looking all that great right now. So this is going to be close. And then there was the news that they benched Joe Flacco for Dylan Gabriel. And so I was talking to you about this yesterday, but with Dylan Gabriel, he's probably going to have some flash plays in this game because the Vikings are aggressive defense. So there's going to be openings here or there. He's going to think, oh, that guy's open, and he's going to get the ball to him in time, have a decent gain there, or he's going to run out of the pocket, use his legs because he's athletic, unlike Flacco. And you're going to see some signs of life, like, oh, this kid could do something. But then there's going to be those plays where he doesn't know what he's seeing because this is the Flores defense. It's not a good defense to start against because it's going to be confusing, multiple different looks he's going to throw at you. He's not going to see it right, and he's either going to hold the ball too long, get sacked, or throw those 50-50 balls that ends up getting intercepted or something. So I think it's going to be a mixed bag. You're going to see some good signs from him. He'll make some plays. He might even score a touchdown with his legs. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But there's also going to be some, oh man, he didn't see that right kind of play. And I think the Vikings defense is going to do enough to get the win. I think Carson Wentz is probably going to have a fine game. The Browns have a good defense. There's no debating. They have a good defense. But I think Wentz is going to make enough plays to where their offense is going to move the ball enough and the defense is just going to kind of end it for him. So initially, like I said, I was probably going Vikings confidence of 1 initially, but then with the Dylan Gabriel news, I bumped that up to an 8 because I just don't think his first start he can beat a Brian Flores defense. If this was Joe Flacco, I'd be like, he might get the ball out quickly, pull like an Aaron Rodgers or Michael Penix, just dimp a dunk, and might have some success. But I don't know if Gabriel can do that. And they're missing Cedric Tillman, who is a big part of their offense, honestly. So I have the Vikings winning confidence of 8.
Yeah, I went with a confidence of 3. I just I I left that game really worried about Wentz. Like that's the Wentz I thought was going to come back against the Steelers and Myles Garrett. He's tough. This Browns
Yeah.
front. We talked about the front. The front is
Oh,
legit.
yeah.
So that's all it comes down to. And we know that Donovan Jackson's going to be out. So that's already one part of the line that they could absolutely pick on. So
There's
um,
3 guys out. There's Donovan Jackson,
yeah,
Ryan Kelly, and Brian O'Neill. All 3 of them are out. So I'm having confidence that KOC is finally going to make the choice to say, hey, I got to adjust a little bit on my offense other than the fourth quarter, but the full game. Because he doesn't want to get his quarterback killed, his backup quarterback killed.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. So we'll see what happens, but I do think the Vikings pull this out. So we'll see if they
They
end up
have
doing
to.
that.
If they lose this game, their playoff chances are basically dead. Not, I mean, you can't fully say that in September, beginning of October, but going 2-3 with the schedule they have, it's going to be really difficult to make the playoffs if they're 2-3. If they're 3-2, they're still alive. They still have a pulse. 2-3, I'm not so sure. Okay, next up we have Raiders at Colts. Can Geno Smith
Okay.
please quit throwing interceptions? I mean, it's
No,
wild. I would not
no.
have expected that at all. I mean, I was on the same Darnold better than Geno Smith train, but I didn't think it was a margin at all. I thought it was like a coin flip. I'm going with the younger guy. But man, Geno has not looked good so far. Hopefully he can get that turned around. He's got good playmakers, Brock Bowers, Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, of course, Ashton Jinty. But man, he just needs to quit turning the ball over, and this team will be okay. On the Colts, they beat themselves kind of at the end of that Rams game with AD Mitchell dropping the ball in the end zone and that dumb holding penalty that was on AD Mitchell as well on that Jonathan Taylor touchdown. So they've actually been probably the biggest surprise team of the league so far because they've been good. They've been legit a good team. This is at Indy. I don't see any reason why Indy loses this game. They just came off a loss. If they beat the Rams last week, this could be a classic trap game because you're like, hey, we just won, we're 4-0, riding high, Raiders coming to town, let's just take care of business. And then they don't truly play like they should, but they lost last week. So I think they're going to be upset. They're going to get things right. I have the Colts winning, and let me see where it's at. This is my confidence level of 12
I went with confidence level 11, so we're right about in line. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know as far as what else there's really worth mentioning here. I think that there's a lot that we could absolutely dig into. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I just, I'm so baffled by the fact that Geno Smith has 7 interceptions. That's such a
That's
bad start.
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, more touchdowns. I mean, a good quarterback's like you're trying to cap at 10, like by the end of the
For the
season. Like
year. Yeah. You're
you
wanting
you
like
want to
a
be
3-to-1 ratio to intercept
exactly.
touchdowns,
That's
interceptions.
exactly completely agree that a 3-to-1 ratio is very fair. I do think it's crazy that Jonathan Taylor's 414 yards rushing over the year.
He's
So
killing it.
he's generated lots of good touches. I am curious about Jones. I feel like Jones came back to earth last week, so it's like,
That's fair. He didn't have a great
what's going to
game.
happen?
Yeah.
And so, is that the real Jones, or I don't know. I mean, it's easy to look good in a 4 games in. So I'm curious about that.
Hmm.
Tyler Warren's looked legit. So I don't know. I just something's off with the Raiders right now. And I'm not saying the
Yeah, I
Raiders
agree.
can't figure it out and they can't get better, but they got significant problems they got to figure out.
They've played some good teams, so those losses aren't horrible, but they have a couple losses. You're like, how did you lose that game? You were in
Yeah.
control and you lost it. I mean, the
Yeah.
Bears last week, they should have won that game. And they gave it
Yep.
away with 3 interceptions and then not blocking the edge guy to have the block field goal. So they,
Yeah.
they got to get some things fixed.
Yes. Agreed.
All right, next game is the Giants at the Saints. Jackson Dart tour has started. So everyone's given him so much credit for last week. I mean, he was fine. He wasn't great last week, but he did what he needed to do. He used his legs some. He got the ball out. I don't think he had any turnovers. I don't think at least. He got the job done, and his defense got their job done probably more than they got credit for because they kept the Chargers out of the end zone as much as they could. Chargers have a good offense, so I got to give credit to the Giants defense. They're playing the Saints this week, and the Saints have been competitive in some games, but they just don't have the talent on that team. Spencer Rattler's been fine, but not great. Chris Olave's been doing what he can. Alvin Kamara's been doing what he can. The defense is average, but they don't have enough players on that defense and on that offense as a whole. It's at New Orleans, and they've been competitive, so this isn't going to be like an easy win for the Giants. It's going to be competitive, but I think the Giants are going to pull it out. I think Jackson Dart will make enough plays. Malik Neighbors is a huge loss, so their hopes of hey, we might have something with Dart without Neighbors, it's the offense is not going to be the same. But Scadaboo is a really good young running back. He's been looking really nice. I wish I drafted him in some fantasy leagues, but I just couldn't get my hands on him. Um, but I think the Giants are going to make enough plays to get a tough, scrappy win on the road. But I only have this as a confidence level of 5.
Yeah, I mean, I go back and forth on this one, and
Yeah.
it's really going to come down to Jackson Dart, and it it's not an ideal situation because the fact that Malik Neighbors is out.
Hmm.
Um, I I kind of secretly have been somewhat impressed by Spencer Rattler. Um, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I don't think he can be a starter, but he might be a very reliable backup the way he's playing.
That's
I mean,
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
he's got an 88.41 rating. He's got 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. He's completed almost 70% of his passes. So he's providing good looks. Like he's not
Hmm.
being careless as other
Hmm.
quarterback, as Geno Smith, as we just talked about. So I'm going to go Saints on this one. I'm going to go
Okay.
Saints. I, I I just at home, Malik Neighbors out. I could see the Saints pulling this one. So give me the Saints, and I've got a confidence of 5.
Okay. Okay. We have the same confidence, but different teams. Okay. This could be one of those key matchups that you're either going to continue your lead on me or I'm going to sneak in. All right. That's going to be fun. But I haven't gotten to my crazy ones yet. So maybe
Oh,
you're on the same page. We'll see. Um, Next game we have on the list is Cowboys at Jets. So Cowboys have been semi-impressive this year. I mean, they're only 1-2-1, but they played the Eagles tight. They tied the
yep.
Packers.
Hmm.
They probably should have beat the Bears, but they had two bad red zone interceptions from Dak. And their offense looked good without CeeDee Lamb last week. So I mean, they've been impressive. And the Jets have sneakily been in pretty much every single game they've played, but they've lost all four. Like against the Buccaneers, I remember that they had that blocked field goal return for a touchdown to take the lead, and then Baker Mayfield just marches down the field and they win at the end basically. And then last week against the Dolphins, they were competitive, they were feisty, they fought, and the Dolphins just barely pulled it out. I think that Aaron Glenn, that's his name. Aaron Glenn is a good coach. He just is first time coaching, so he's not fully been knowing what he's quite doing just yet. And Justin Fields is it's been fine. This is at New York. Give me the Jets, baby. I'm going Jets, but confidence level of 1. I think this is one of those
Okay.
times where the Jets are 0-4. They are going to be just playing their hearts out because I think that Aaron Glenn still has that locker room because he's a good young coach. And the Cowboys are coming off a tie, a very emotional roller coaster of a game. They played their butts off against the Packers and they didn't even win. I think that's a low key big thing because I mean this game's emotional and there's roller coasters, highs, there's lows. I think the Jets are going to pull off a like nail biter last second field goal win because they've been close against some good teams and they just haven't gotten it figured out. The Cowboys defense, as we know, is a mess. So I think the Jets are going to score enough points, make enough plays, barely sneak out a win. But again, I only have this as a confidence level of 1. This is one of my crazy upset picks.
Interesting. I'm definitely going Cowboys on this one. Um, I just I teams in the NFC East know they have to keep up with the Eagles. They
Hmm.
know they can't get too far behind, and the Cowboys know they have to win this one. Um, I mean, if you're Schottenheimer, you were gifted a tie. I mean, really, that the way that game was going,
Hmm.
they should not have tied, and they did. So that gets you, a little bit in a better spot. But I think they're going to win this one. I understand what you're saying about the Jets. I just that organization, man, they just have struggled year after year after year after year.
Absolutely.
And
And that goes to ownership.
I mean, I give him credit, Woody, for choosing to hire someone that's a better coach. Honestly, this
Hmm.
is probably the best candidate he's hired. But here's the problem. he has absolutely failed at hiring a good candidate like 5 times in a row. I mean, it's
Hmm
been a long time since I've actually been impressed by a hire. I mean, Adam Gase, like picking up the Dolphins trash, like what are you doing? I,
hmm
so yeah, my confidence is not there, and so I'm gonna pick the Cowboys.
What's your
Enjoy this
level?
moment, Cowboys fans. I put 6.
6. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Like I said, I have a few like bold, crazy picks. That was one of them. I think I have like two more that we might kind of disagree on. Um, Next game up. Oh, this is gonna be a stinking good game. Broncos at Eagles. Um, I don't want to say that this is technically a trap game for the Eagles because the Broncos are playing well, so the Eagles aren't going to look past them. But this is a game where the Broncos have enough talent to pull off an upset. The problem is they haven't been a team that closes. They've been in a lot of games, and their two losses, they didn't close. Against the Colts, they didn't close the deal. They should have made the field goal, but Will Lutz clunked it against the upright, gave the Colts life. Colts marched down and win the game. And then against the Chargers, they have the lead, but their defense doesn't keep doesn't keep the Chargers out of the end zone. I think Herbert finds Allen in the corner or something like that, and the Chargers win. So they're not a team that closes. And the Eagles have been kind of opposite. They've been kind of up and down the first couple quarters, but then they close the deal either on offense or defense. And being a closer as a team is huge. Doing what it takes in crunch time is one of the biggest things in this league. I mean, look at the Chiefs last year. The Chiefs last year did not play very well, but when it came to closing, they closed the deal and they won like 11 one score games because of that. And they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. Of course, we know what happened in the Super Bowl, but in the regular season, that matters. So this is at Philly. Philly's healthy. They're riding high. I do have Philly winning this game, but I think the Broncos have enough talent to keep it close. I have this as my confidence level of 2.
I went with a confidence level of 7, and here are some of the reasons why. Um, Bo Nix has 4 interceptions this year. He's playing loose.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I do think he's going to make some plays. I do think that the it will be a pretty strong back and forth game.
Mm-hmm.
But that and then total turnover differential, the Broncos are -2 in that category, 21st in the league. The Eagles are 4, like +4 at fourth. So I think that's a huge advantage to the Eagles. They've been pretty good at being disciplined and making sure the ball stays out of harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't like that for the Broncos. I think the Eagles are doing really good right now at scheming and making life difficult for quarterbacks to
Mm-hmm.
come up with a game plan they want to stick with. And then they pivot. And then, of course, we see like Baker Mayfield having success. But um, I think going on the road, being in Philly, it's not a great spot. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Eagles. The one part that's kind of like the sneaky thing to watch out for is the Broncos have 15 sacks.
They are getting after that quarterback for sure.
That is something I am concerned about, especially with Landon Dickerson not looking as good lately. And like
And
I
then
said,
Lane Johnson getting hurt here or there. He's not like hurt missing the game, but he's missing series here and there
he's
because of
banged
some,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely not 100%. So that will for sure be a problem. So, but I've got the Eagles in this one. I feel good
Yeah.
about this. Also, I feel like the last time that we had a blow up with the media with AJ Brown, that's when we had the AJ Brown coming out game.
Fair.
So you
Fair.
know
To the opposite side of that though is he does have Pat Surtain on him this week.
that's fair.
So at that might be flush where he'll play better than 2 catches. They're gonna get him the ball, but I wouldn't anticipate he's get like a buck 20 and 2 touchdowns, kind of a breakout game.
No, I just mean that he's maybe it's a touchdown, right? Maybe there's a touchdown in the third quarter that he's
Yeah.
able to sneak in over at Patrick Surtain. I mean, that's nothing against Surtain. Surtain's a good cornerback, but AJ Brown's a great receiver. So
Yep. Yep.
I
It's
could
gonna be
just
a
see
fun matchup.
something. Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. And by the way, like when I put confidence, it's not that there's going to be a blowout. Just because I put it at
Hmm
7, that doesn't mean blowout. I feel confident this is going to end in Eagles W.
Yeah. 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 Me too. Me too. But it just the Broncos, they have been in every game and they just haven't closed. I don't think they're going to close this game, but if the Broncos won, I'd be like, oh, okay. I wouldn't
Yep,
be extremely shocked. I'd be like, oh,
that's
well, they
fair.
finally closed the deal. But like you said, it's at Philly, so Philly should win this game. Next up, we have Dolphins at Panthers, two 1-3 teams. So this game's going to be so much
Uh,
fun.
yes.
So for the Dolphins, they've their past 2 weeks they've looked actually pretty good. They played the
Mhm.
Bills really close. Their offense was moving the ball. Their defense was sneakily keeping Josh Allen in the offense at least in somewhat of a check, enough to keep them in the game. And then last week, of course, they got close to it against the Jets, but it was at the cost of Tyreek Hill. That is a pretty big loss.
Mhm.
I think they have enough though to get by certain games. I think this is one of them because Darren Waller kind of I mean, he only had 3 catches, but 2 of them were in the end zone. He's a big red zone threat, so two is probably going to look for him at that range. Devon Achan's awesome. They still have Jalen Waddle, so he's a really good 2. So now he's going to be their 1, and he showed his rookie year that he could be a decent 1. And the Panthers defense isn't anything that scares you. I know they shut out the Falcons, and then the Falcons put up 34 the next week, but their defense isn't crazy. And the Panthers offense has just not really been clicking. They've moved the ball here or there. They've been competitive, but it just really hasn't been that impressive.
Mhm.
Maybe they can turn that around. It's at home. The season's yet young, but I don't see them winning this game because the Dolphins are playing better currently. I know Tyreek Hill is a big loss, but they're playing better, so I have the Dolphins winning, but I only have it as a confidence level of 4.
Oh, same. I've got the exact same confidence level of four.
Oh, okay.
For me, it just comes down to the fact that Dolphins have to win. Like McDaniel has to win. If they
Hmm.
lose this game, he might be gone by next week.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just that team, way too much talent for the Dolphins to have played as badly as they had in some games this year.
Hmm.
Um, and I really think it comes down to coaching. They have not lost faith in McDaniel the way that they have fought to this point, and the fact that they almost
Yeah.
stole one from the Bills. But there's just been inexplicably bad decisions, and
Hmm.
so we'll see.
Yeah, he definitely is on the hot seat. The hot seat, the temperature did go down a little bit with they got a win, but that temperature could go right back up if they lose a bad loss against the Panthers. So I'm
Yes.
right there with you. All right, next game. This game will be interesting. Texans at Ravens. I'm going into this with the impression that Lamar Jackson is out. They're being coy, they're being secretive about it, but I don't see how he plays this game. I don't think anything's official yet. I think like the Ravens are saying, yeah, we'll see. Then there's like reporters on the sideline saying, yeah, he's going to be out for 2 weeks or something. There's nothing official yet, I don't believe. But I'm going on the impression that he's missing this game because he had the hamstring injury in the fourth and they sat him out, even though it was like just barely like a 10 or 14 point game. They could have easily come back. And some of the reports that's out there is that it's something that he needs to sit for a couple weeks. This is going to be one of them. I'm already saying he's missing this game. Next week he could be a different story, but I'm thinking he's missing this game. And Cooper Rush is actually a decent backup,
Mhm.
but this offense completely changes without Lamar Jackson and his legs. That means that no one has to keep a spy. So they
Mhm.
can just make sure they contain, at least the best they can do, they contain Derrick Henry. He's huge. He's hard to tackle. He's going to break through for a few, but defense can make sure they contain him the best they can. And if there's no threat of a running quarterback, if you truly look at the Ravens like pass catchers, does anyone truly scare you? Zay Flowers is decent. Mark Andrews, he's a good tight end, but not great. Isaiah Likely, the same, good tight end, but not great. Rashad Bateman's fine. Hopkins is just a guy out there that can catch jump balls occasionally. But Texans have a good defense. They rush the quarterback like no other. They're right there with the Broncos as far as sacks, I would imagine. So I have the Texans winning this game, and I'm fairly confident because of the Lamar Jackson absence. So I have this as a confidence level of 7.
And that's fair. For me, it comes down to I have no faith in the Texans. No faith. Um, I was just looking it up, and the Texans average 16 points a game, which is 29th in the NFL.
That's awful. That's
So
awful.
bad. And
Hmm.
there's enough games now that should be higher. That should
Hmm.
absolutely be higher. It's way too low. And I mean, I'm just thinking about that week one game against the Rams, and that offense looked dreadful. It just could not look worse.
Hmm.
Um, and then the Jaguars came, they got 10 points. I cannot believe the Jaguars beat them with the Texans only scoring 10 points. Yeah, man, I'm so low on the Texans right now. You foolishly get into this predicament with CJ have to release him.
Mm.
You trade Cam Robinson, who you signed and proclaimed as basically your future left
Well,
tackle for the
that's
season.
funny to me.
Just inexplicably bad moves, and I don't know who to blame, man. Is it D'Amico Ryans? Is it the front office?
Hmm.
Is it CJ Stroud? I mean, CJ Stroud has not looked like himself this year, but I do think the offensive line has been so terribly bad that it
Yeah.
is hard to gauge at this point whose fault is it? Whose fault is it that these are coming in? So anyway, you tie that all together, and then you have Cooper Rush coming in, and um, I just wanted to look this up. He has 9 wins to 5 losses, so this is not a bad backup. This is a guy that's
Good
come in the
backup. Yeah.
spots and he's looked good. I think he's going to have a good game. I, I get what you're saying. I do understand this. As far as is there potential for him to have a bad game against the Texans? Will the offense get thrown off? All those are fair questions, but I do think that in the end, that the Texans are going to make more mistakes than the Ravens will, and that will lead to a Ravens victory. So I got a confidence of 8. I just
Okay.
I'm so low on the Texans right now,
Another
man. I
one we're opposite
could not
on.
be lower. Yeah,
Okay. And I'm honestly almost, I'm not that low on the Ravens as you are, but even with everyone healthy, they've looked bad too. And their defense has been just almost
their
atrocious,
defense
and
has
they're
been
very
bad.
injured too. So
Yes,
this is one of those times where yeah, the Texans offense has looked bad, but they're now playing a bad defense, so they it's going to be bad on bad, so they might have some hope.
I mean that's fair. That's fair. We'll see who breaks first.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be interesting. That's another game we're like opposite on, even with the confidence level. All right, this is interesting, and that wasn't even one of my biggest upsets. I don't think. I have one coming that I don't think you're going to agree with, but we'll see. You've surprised me a couple times. But anyway, next up we have Titans at Cardinals. So the Cardinals, I think every single game they've played has been a one score game, every single one, and they're 2-2. They've beaten the Panthers, who is one of the worst teams, and they barely beat them. They beat the Saints, who could be the worst team, and they barely beat them. And then they barely lost to the Seahawks last week, and the week before I forgot who they lost to. Who was it? But I'm not sure. But they barely lost that one as well. So they're playing 500 ball right now, and they're kind of piling up the injuries a little bit because James Conner's gone, Trey Benson's
Yes.
gone for a few weeks, and then on the Titans side, well, first go back to the Cardinals, and Marvin Harrison Jr. finally looked good for a half. For one half, he looked good, and for one half, he looked horrendous. Him and Kyler Murray were not on the same page at all in that first half. In the second half, all of a sudden, like a flip switched. So that was good to see. There might be hope there. And on the Titans, Cam Ward's looked good, but he still looked like a rookie. And the Titans don't have a lot of players on that team. They're in they're in line to get a top 3 pick again. And if I were them, they already have their quarterback. I think Cam Ward is their quarterback of the future. I think he's shown enough that he is that. They probably should trade that pick and just pile up picks and get some talent for this team, unless there's like a crazy corner or receiver or something that they want. But I got the Cardinals winning this game at home. But this is going to be one of those like, how is this game close kind of games? Because that's just how the Cardinals play. They let people stay around when they shouldn't, or they compete with the good teams when you're surprised that they're competing that well. It might have been the 49ers they lost to. I'm not sure. But I got the Cardinals win this game. I have it at a confidence level of 6. So I'm thinking they should win, but would I be surprised if the Titans pulled this out? No, I wouldn't. I want to believe in the Cardinals, but I can't do it because every game is a close game, even when it shouldn't be.
Those are all fair points. I just think right now the Cardinals are just uh, are the better team over the Titans, and the
They are,
Titans have
yeah.
been. I don't think that. Let's get keeping some facts straight. The Arizona Cardinals are 2-10 against winning teams right now. In their
Hmm.
last 12 games against teams with winning records are 2-10. So that's not a great stretch. That doesn't look
No.
good. That's a problem. But the Titans aren't a good team. So this problem doesn't
Right.
apply. And the coaching staff is not good. Uh, do
Yeah,
you
we're
do you
talking
know
about Mike
that GIF?
McDaniels being the first coach that could be fired. The Titans coach
Yes.
could be the first coach that gets
Yeah.
fired.
It's Callahan, right? Isn't that his
Callahan.
name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Callahan.
Do you know that the Snoop Dogg GIF where he's like, who? Like, do you know what I'm
Hmm.
talking about? Like that's what I imagine every time I hear his name. Is like I'm like, who? Who is this guy? How did he become the head coach? And
Hmm.
yeah, they doubled down on him. Just doubled and tripled down. Anyway, I can't pick the Titans confidently, so I'm going Cardinals with a 10. I just think that this is
10.
a
Okay.
perfect bounce back, get right game for the Cardinals.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm mostly there with you. I just can't believe in the Cardinals until they beat a bad team by more than 3 points. If they win this game like a 24 to 10, I'll be with you. Like, all right, good job, Cardinals. You're back on track. I'll believe in you a little bit now. But I just see this being like a 17-13 game when it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Buccaneers at Seahawks. This should be fun. Two 3-1 teams, two teams that have been feisty, been fighting, look good. For the Buccaneers, they're dealing with a lot of injuries right now. I mean, their O line, they're missing guys. Their D line, they're missing guys. Mike Evans is going to be out again with his hamstring. Godwin is healthy now. I don't like he's fully healthy, but he's playing. Ibuka's been dealing with a couple things, but he's playing look good. Key thing though is Bucky Irving was in a walking boot on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that he misses this game. Now, coach said that if he can shed that walking boot by Friday, and if he can show that he's good to go, he'll still play. But he'll still play might mean limited snaps, might mean he's not fully himself. And they're playing at Seattle. That is probably the biggest home field in the whole league at Seattle. It's that and the Chiefs that are just right up there for me. And then Phillies look like probably close third. But I don't know. And Baker Mayfield, though, he always finds a way to either keep their team in or wins the game. So this is tough for me, but I had to go big. So I have the Seahawks winning this game at home
Mm.
with a confidence level of 10 because
Wow.
of their defense and the Buccaneers missing two of their key offensive players, most likely Mike Evans and Bucky Irving. If this was a healthy unhealthy, this would have been fun to watch. I think the only way the Buccaneers truly continue to stay in this game is because Baker
Mhm.
Mayfield just has that dog in him. And he's just going to make sure they stay in the game. But I just don't see the Buccaneers winning this game. Seahawks have really shown some past few weeks where I've been impressed. Their defense is legit. They're running the ball well. Sam Darnold isn't killing it. People are giving him so much credit. He's looked fine. He's looked like a good game manager, making enough plays, getting the ball to JSN, to the right guys, not making bad turnovers. But he hasn't really been like throwing for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Mhm.
He's just been fine. He's been doing what he needs to do. And then let the run game and the defense win the game. And I think that's what will happen. So I have the Seahawks at a 10.
Yeah, I've got the Buccaneers at a 9. So this is going to be a flip game.
Wow. This is going to be an interesting week. I know you're a big Bucks
I
fan. I know you are. You've been that way ever since like the past few years when the Bucks have found a way to beat the Eagles. So you've been
I
high on the
mean,
Bucks.
I I just am really I like Todd Bowles. I think he's a good
Yeah.
coach. I think he's consistently, like I said, we're not talking about playoffs. We're talking about regular season. And
Hmm.
so playoffs, I think, would be a different story. But Baker Mayfield, man, um, he's just had
Yeah.
such a cool. such a career resurrection with the Buccaneers. I mean,
Hmm.
it is crazy. I mean, really, think about it. It's crazy that I will, at the end of Baker Mayfield's career, picture him in Buccaneers red and silver more than I'll think of the Cleveland Browns.
For sure.
There's a point, like, even a couple years ago where that didn't seem possible. That didn't seem
Hmm.
like that was going to happen. It seemed like that he was on life support. It was over. I give him so much props. And Ibuka is so good.
He
Um,
is.
so good. I know that the Buccaneers have line issues, but I think the Seattle Seahawks line is even worse. So,
Offensive line,
I,
me?
I
Yeah.
mhm. So when I put that together, you got Todd Bowles, who's great at scheming how to put pressure on quarterbacks and make them unnerved and make mistakes. I don't like that matchup for Sam Darnold. I think he's going to look more vulnerable, make more mistakes. I do see why you picked him. I really like the Bucks right now. They always seem to know how to make the right play. So
Hmm.
it's going to be tight though. It's going to be really really tight. But man, Baker Mayfield, 8 touchdowns. He's off to such a strong start.
He's
Um,
been great. Yeah. Yeah. If they continue to win, he's going to be the MVP candidate because
yeah,
he's carrying that team because that team is I don't want to say they're falling apart injury wise, but they're getting beat up a little bit. They're losing some
they are.
guys here
They
or
are.
there, and their talent level usually hasn't matched to the team they're playing against. And Baker
Yes.
Mayfield is pulling them to wins or pulling them close at least like last week. So yeah,
Yep.
he's been great. I'm a huge Baker fan. I just at Seattle with that defense. I
That's
feel
fair.
like Seattle's going to win that one. But the next game, I think we can kind of go through quickly. Lions at Bengals. Lions had a bad loss week one, but since then they've looked like the Lions, especially offensively. They've just been humming, moving the ball down the field. They even put up a lot of points against the Browns' good defense, which I think no one's really
Yes.
talking about that. That was pretty impressive. I'll give them props. I don't like to give them props, but I'll give them props because they put up a lot of points against the Browns. When you beat the Bears by a lot, that's awesome. Congratulations. But they put up points against the Browns. That was impressive. And the Bengals, Jake Browning isn't it. They have too much talent on offense that they need to continue with this. This is going to be painful. I mean, he might score a couple touchdowns because they have too much talent on offense to
Hmm.
not, but they're probably going to lose by 30 still. And I would not be shocked if this is like a 42-10 drubbing. I'm just going to say that. Could it be competitive? It's at Cincinnati. Sure. This is NFL. Teams can be competitive and fight, but there is no way Cincinnati is winning this game. This is my confidence level of 14 for the Lions.
So it's your most confident game.
Yep.
Same for me. Yeah. I don't think there's much else we need to get to, Andrew. But I did want to ask, how many points are the Bengals asking per game? How much are they averaging?
Let's see. They put up a 10 against the Vikings, and then last week they looked bad too. I'm going to say that in even their first two wins, their offense wasn't really moving the ball much. I'm going to say like 15 points a game.
15.2.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed with myself.
Yeah, nice job. They are 30th in the league. That is awful. Another key
Yeah.
statistic, the Lions are +4 in the turnover department. Bengals are -3. That just kind of tells you
That
the
has a lot to
direction
do with
these
the
teams are
Vikings game
going.
because the Vikings got him 5 times.
Sure did. Sure did. But yeah, dude, either shut down the team and admit that you're not going to be good and try to trade Trey Hendrickson, or get serious and trade for quarterback. This is embarrassing.
Yep.
Like,
There's a few
I,
available. Hmm.
it's just embarrassing. So yeah,
And for you, Jamar Chase fantasy owners, I feel bad for you. And I'm just going to say this. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, wow, did this really happen again? The number one consensus overall pick in fantasy is not playing well again. And it's not his fault, but you don't want that number one pick. I'm just saying it. You
yeah, it
don't want it.
sucks. It's horrible. When we think about it, it was that or Saquon Barkley, or who's the other person that was up there? Was
Bijan
it
was up
Justin
there. So
Jefferson?
Bijan's been doing
Bijan.
good.
Bijan.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
JJ
right.
was up there, Bijan was up there, Jameer Gibbs is up there, but I don't think he's like number one consideration. He's probably like four or
No,
five.
4 or 5. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's
yeah,
that the true number one that so far this year was Bijan. At least the value for that.
right.
But I mean, past like 3 or 4 years, that number one overall pick has not turned out. It's like the
It's a
Madden
tough
curse
game.
almost.
Yeah, it's horrible. You don't want that spot.
All right, we have 3 games to go. Next up, Commanders at Chargers. So I'm going to start with the Chargers on this one because they lost their tackle, Joe Alt. So they're missing both their tackles. I think Joe Alt's probably going to miss 3-ish games, maybe 4, like a high ankle sprain, I believe. Um, that's sneakily kind of big because the Chargers have been mostly throwing the ball well. They ran the ball well last week. I'll give them credit on that. They got the run game going. That was my concern for a few weeks now, but last week Hampton looked awesome. But without tackles to block edge rushers and protect Justin Herbert, that does concern me a little bit. It's at the Chargers though, and their offense is still really good. Their defense has been good, not great, but good enough to make some things happen. And the Commanders, they've been missing players. Jaden Daniels has been missing for a few games. Terry McLaurin missed last game.
Hmm.
I think McLaurin missing was the key reason why they lost. I think if McLaurin was out there last week, I think they probably find a way to beat the Falcons because they came back and were just short. But this week, Jaden Daniels is already confirmed he's being back. I think Terry McLaurin's probably going to play. I don't have that confirmed. But like you said with the Cowboys, the Commanders need to win this game to keep up with the Eagles. And the Chargers looked a little vulnerable by losing to a bad Giants team. So I got the Commanders winning this game. Not a high confidence though. I have a confidence level of 3 because the Chargers are still a good team, very well coached team. Justin Herbert is phenomenal, but with the combination of Joe Alt missing, Jaden Daniels coming back, and the Commanders needing to win, I have them winning, but only confidence of 3.
I have the Commanders winning, but I have the confidence of 12.
Whoa. Okay.
And I just think the offensive line issue is going to be particularly apparent this week for the Chargers. But here's the big thing: Jaden Daniels is back. I
Yeah.
think he's going to have a huge game. So that's why I picked them. Was Jaden Daniels is back. Trey McLaurin's coming back. So I'd look for the Commanders to go off here. Be a little bit of surprising
Okay.
score. That's not saying the Chargers aren't a good team. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Hmm.
It's just, um, yeah. Here's the other thing that's kind of interesting. If the Chargers lose and they could go to 3-2, that's a deceitful 3-2. They're still 3-0 in the division, and neither loss would be against AFC teams. So
Mm.
these would not be
Hmm.
backbreakers for the Chargers. So
Hmm.
I think there's a possibility for maybe if there's injuries that linger or they don't really want to take chances, I think it'd be easy to say, hey, this doesn't really hurt us from a AFC standpoint if things don't go as well compared to a
Hmm.
game against the Chiefs or the Broncos or the Bills or something like that.
Hmm. Okay. I thought this game would be opposite on, but I thought you were going to go Chargers. This is one of my picks. I thought, oh, this is a pick that we're going to be opposite on. We're semi-opposite by our confidence level, but we both
Yes.
have the Commanders winning. All right. Next up is Sunday Night Football, Patriots at Bills.
What do we do to
Um,
deserve this game, Andrew?
well,
That,
I'm going to actually say that I feel like this is going to be more competitive than we're thinking because you look at the Bills. The Bills are 4-0, one of the best teams in the
yes.
league, but they barely beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins made it close. And I think last week the game was fairly close for a little bit as well against the Saints. They pulled away late, the Bills did, but that game was competitive for a while. And that was 2 winless teams that they beat with a competitive, like close game. They won, give them props, but the other team kept it close. And if you look at the Patriots, they've been close all year. Like they barely lost to the Raiders and they barely lost to the Steelers. They just
Yes.
did make enough plays, but they've been competing. So I think this is going to be a close game. I think this could be semi-competitive, semi-fun to watch, honestly. But I still have the Bills winning. They're the better team. I'm not going that crazy, not yet. But I could see this being like, hey, the Patriots are literally within one score in the fourth quarter, and then the Bills take it away, score a touchdown late to end up winning by 10, something like that. So I have the Bills winning. I think it's going to be close, but I do have a confidence level of 11.
I went with a confidence level of 13. I think they're going to continue their winning traditions in the AFC East.
Hmm.
They've been dominant. They're the new for the East. They're the New England Patriots. They've shown
Yep.
that they have been dominant. They continue to have a great streak in their division. I just don't see the Patriots being able to do it. Props to Drake May. Drake May has looked great.
He's
Um,
looked the part. Yep.
and Diggs looked like himself last week as far as the previous self, former self.
Hmm.
We'll see if that continues though. He is recovering from an injury, so it kind of makes sense he had a slow start.
Hmm.
So, but I do understand what you're saying about the Bills defense. This defense is not the best.
Yeah.
They've been leaky, especially the
Hmm.
back end. So I could see that continuing. The one part that I will throw out though is and the turnover differentials +3 for the Bills, -3 for the Patriots. That's a tell of two teams right there. Just total opposite
Yep.
sides.
Yep.
So
That's
I
why the
think that's gonna
Patriots lost to the Steelers because they had three fumbles in the red zone,
yeah.
and that's big.
I think it's gonna be a problem going into Sunday night. So yeah, going with the Bills, confidence of 13.
All right. I'm pretty much right there with you. And then last game, Monday Night Football, Chiefs at Jags. So the Chiefs look like the Chiefs last week, and but again, that was against a defense of the Ravens that honestly, if you look at the numbers, is probably like one of the worst eight defenses in the league right now. They're more talented than that. They're not one of the worst defenses, the Ravens, as far as talent is concerned. But so far this year, they have not been playing well, and the Chiefs torched them last week. The return of Xavier Worthy is probably bigger than anyone's really thinking because
Hmm.
that offense was just humming with him in there. I do have
Yeah.
concerns about the run game still. Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, they just don't look like it. But Brashard Smith, he had signs of life last week with out of the backfield, catch some passes. He has some burst to him. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually I don't want to say he takes over, but if he gets more snaps, if he's kind of like their, oh, who was that guy? Man, I can't think of his name. He was their like third down back in the day, and he caught so many receiving touchdowns out of the backfield. He played for the Vikings. McKinnon, Jarek McKinnon. I wouldn't be surprised if Brashard Smith is the new Jarek McKinnon in this offense, where he doesn't really get a lot of rushes, but he's like on every third down, and he makes some really good plays in key moments. I wouldn't be surprised. Now on the Jaguar side, their defense has looked legit. They got a big win last week. Props to us for picking that when probably no one else in the world did. We saw it coming. We weren't believers in the Niners, and the Jaguars pulled it off. But I and you as well have concerns about Trevor Lawrence. He has not looked the part. I mean, they have an insane receiver in Brian Thomas Jr., and he is not getting the ball. He's getting targets, but they don't have a connection. I think it's even slightly worse than the Marvin Harrison Jr. Kyler Murray connection
Hmm.
between
Hmm.
Trevor Lawrence and BTJ. And BTJ has proven he's really good. So that does concern me. It's at Jacksonville, so that helps. But I don't think it's enough because Trevor Lawrence versus Patrick Mahomes is where it comes down to. I'm picking Patrick Mahomes. I'm picking the Chiefs, and I got it as a confidence level of 9.
I went with the Chiefs. I went with a confidence level of 1.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's not so much the Trevor Lawrence factor that made me or not. That's not like why I ended up going with what I did. I just some things that I thought about were um, the defense of the Jaguars has 9 interceptions.
That's
So
big. Yeah.
they are getting after the passes and trying to find ways to break it up or get interceptions. So they're +9 in the turnover department. Chiefs are +3. So we'll see as far as how that plays out. It's interesting though. Like these offenses are very similar as far as in terms of like overall statistics. You got 24.2 for the Chiefs on average points per game. Jaguars are 24. Um, and I never really worry about time of possession. There's so many wonky things with time of possession that can work out.
Hmm.
I mean, I think it's more of an indicator if you have like 25 minutes a game, that's like, okay, this is not going well as a team. But if you average 30 minutes a
Hmm.
game, you're doing fine. So, yeah, I think ETN. is the key to the game for me. If he can go off, then the Chiefs will have a hard time keeping pace with the Jaguars. But if the Jaguars have to lean on Lawrence, it's going to be a problem. And that turnover margin, I mean, I still can't believe it's +9, man. That is insane because Trevor
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence has 4 interceptions. Um, but
And
yeah,
it's
I mean,
still a +9. Yep.
he's averaging 58.3% completions
That's not
for his
good.
passes, and Mahomes is 61. Not good, not good. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's really a question of which offense is going to get going. Worthy's back, so it should continue. But it is something continuing to worth monitoring because that those numbers should be better for both quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I went with the Chiefs. I think they pull it out. I think Lawrence will struggle with doing what needs to be done when a game's tight. So that's how I'm feeling.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. This week's going to be very interesting because there's a few picks that we had widely different. So
Yes.
either at the end of this week, I'm going to have the lead or you're going to get by 100.
Well, I mean, I'm starting to question reality about that Buccaneers pick, but I felt really confident about that one. I just
hmm
and White's a good backup. He's a good backup running back. I think he could fill in for a game
He
and
is. Yeah. He's not as electric as Bucky Irving, but as far as
no,
just a solid running back, I mean, that's the reason why he was a starter for so many years because he's very dependable.
right, right. So I could see that going that way, and yeah, we'll just have to see. I think the biggest games from this week for us are the Ravens, the Buccaneers, and the Saints Giants game. Right, those three.
Yep.
Those are big flips. Well, I guess we have the
Yep.
Cowboys. We got the Cowboys game too, because
Well, I only
uh,
put that as a one, so that's probably only like a 7 point
okay,
difference.
all right, man. This is
This will
going to
be
be
interesting.
interesting.
Yep.
This is going to be
Like I
real
said, I
interesting.
had to go a little bold this week. I like to
Hmm.
have fun. I like to have fun with this. If I end up in last the whole year, I don't care. I like to have fun and pick some bold stuff. But I'm feeling pretty decent about this week, honestly. I'm feeling pretty decent about my picks. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you never know, man. Things are always changing, so we'll see how it
hmm
plays out. Best of luck to your Vikings, Andrew, as they finish up their trip overseas.
hmm
Um,
hmm
here's the
Yes.
other part that's underrated that people aren't appreciating. They're getting out 2 road games on this trip. That is a
Yeah.
sneaky advantage.
Yeah. And
So
going through the schedule at the beginning of the year, thought that was two not gimme wins. No win is a gimme, but two, okay, we should win those games. And those are two quote unquote road games we should win. And we blew last week. We had a chance, and we just couldn't close it. Or, well, not close it, but catch up enough.
couldn't pull it off. Couldn't pull it
Yeah.
off. It was close.
Yep.
Um,
Toward the end,
so
we had a
we'll
good comeback.
yeah. Well, here's my hot take. Isaiah Rogers is going to pick off Dilly Gabriel for a touchdown.
Interesting. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And my hot take is that Dylan Gabriel gets sacked at least 5 times.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yep. Well, this is good, man. I'm glad we were able to go through our picks. Excited to see how they play out. And good luck,
hmm
Rams. Please, please do good and honor our wishes for tonight's game. That would be greatly
Yes.
appreciated.
Yes. I mean, if the 49ers pull this off, I'm gonna be so struck. Like, what is going on with this football season?
Yeah. Yep. Well, we'll see what happens, man. It'll be fun to watch and looking forward to our recap show next week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for joining us in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you next time.
We'll see everybody.